Oh, yeah. Hey, what's good? You are now rocking with the best. You see us on the screen. Jesse Holley, Road Parrish, Believe in Cowboys, brought to you by FanDuel. It has been a long time since we had a conversation. Number one, let me just say this. It has been an amazing run for me personally this year because I got to see my Miami Hurricanes advance to the championship game, and I got to see my Michigan Wolverines basketball team cut down the net. So the adolescent, the teenage me has had a great time watching sports. So we'll see if the adolescent me is going to enjoy watching these Cowboys, what they're going to do, because when I was younger, the Cowboys were good. They were led by a great GOAT by the name of Jimmy Johnson, who knew how to draft and develop and kick players on the backside and make those guys do what they do. Anyway, all that said, I just had to toot my own horn because I'm really in a good place. I'm in a good space. I'm feeling happy. Jesse, what's been going on with you, man? It's been a while since we had a conversation.
Yeah, man, I'm good. My basketball hopes have come back up, as you see on this side of me. I'm a North Carolina Tar Heel for life, and we just got a new head coach, Michael Malone. I'm super excited about that. Like you, we're roughly around the same age. So, growing up, the Cowboys were actually good. And so I got my fingers crossed. As we're just, we're under 10 days away from the NFL draft happening in Pittsburgh. And so hopefully that, we don't have Jimmy Johnson, but maybe we have something like him and Brian Schottenheimer and Christian Parker, and we can will this thing back to some good draft picks so the Cowboys can get back to what they were in our adolescence so that we can feel good about sports again.
Yeah, that would be great to see. As everybody knows that watch this podcast, listen to this podcast, thank you for listening, liking, and subscribing. I'm not a Cowboys fan. I'm not a Cowboys fan by any stretch, by any means. However, thank you to the Cowboys for putting a couple of extra dollars in my pocket and allowing, us to pay our bills and do what we need to do. So thank you to the Cowboys. However, not a Cowboys fan, dog. I ain't been a Cowboys fan for a very long time, but that's not what's important.
Well, I'm a Cowboys fan. Let's go Cowboys. Let's go.
Hey, that's great.
Let's go, boys.
That's great. Hey, listen, I'm not the person that's going to sit here and knock somebody for liking something that I don't necessarily like. That is all fine. That is all good. Do what you do, Playboy. Just the people that, look at me funny or try to recruit me to say, hey, you need to come back. Nah, dog, that ain't happening. No, thank you. But hey, with all that said, there's a lot of excitement. We know the Cowboys have picks 12 and 20. Just to run down a couple of things, we know the schedule is about to start picking up a little bit as OTAs are right around the corner. First, before the OTAs, you have voluntary offseason workouts that start on the 20th. Then you have the OTAs starting at the beginning of June, and then mini camps come after that, and then we know training camp comes after. So we'll be seeing you a little bit more as those events take place. But in the meantime, in the in-between time, we got to talk about some of these players, dog, because we know that everybody is excited when you have those two picks, and there's been plenty of conversation about, are the Cowboys going to trade up? They're going to trade down? We don't know what's going to happen. Just off the top, Jesse, what are your thoughts on the potential of a trade moving up or down for Dallas?
Yeah, and I know it sounds, and you've had some national media talk about it, but for me, I don't think it makes much real estate sense because you have so many needs, and right now you're in a position to have 2 first-round picks. Now, this isn't a generational talent-led draft, so you're trying to gain as much ground as you can by bringing in some of the top end talent players. But the one thing that has gotten to me a little bit when you're talking about moving up, everybody's trying to move out, right? Guys that pick 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that to me, I'm like, wait a second. Why is the rest of the league zigging and the Cowboys trying to zag? I was like, now this is not necessarily true what they're saying, but a lot of media talking about the Cowboys potentially moving up. I'm just like, if they're all trying to get out of the top 10, why are you so quick to try to jump in the top 10? Sometimes you got to read the room and just be like, maybe we should just stay pat. And I'm not saying the Cowboys won't do that. None of us know what they're going to do. This is all speculation and opinions and we're trying to read the tea leaves and paste things together about, you know, if you have some sources, some scouts, some friends that know somebody, that the housekeeper, the people that come by and cook the food, the chefs and all them. You're just trying to piece up all the information you can to come up with the best educated guest that you can possibly get. And so now I'm looking at it and I'm just saying, is that where they want to go? Is that what they want to do with this?
Oh, hey, hold on, player. Somebody's blowing you up, man. You got to turn that ring off.
I don't know. We got to stop this. I don't know. We have to. Yeah, I guess.
Jesse Holley is a very important individual that gets all types of people reaching out to him. Sometimes it's Cowboys tips. Sometimes it's, you know, we won't speak on the other types of messages that he gets, but he's very important. And
I don't know why all these text messages are coming in. Hold on. I gotta get this to stop.
So let me just go to my phone and make sure there's nothing breaking that's happened as we're recording this podcast.
How do I get this to stop? This is crazy. I gotta. This is, boy.
There's an option called DND, do not disturb. You can utilize it on your laptop or on your mobile device.
Yeah, let's do that on my mobile device to get these things. I don't even have it. I don't even know how to put it on my computer because it don't even be on my computer. But anyway, I think we're good now.
Like I said, Jesse is very important.
They're trying to jump into around what everyone's trying to jump out. So we'll see what happens. I think they should stay put. I think that if they stay put, and on top of that, historically, the Cowboys in the last 20, 25 years have only moved up one time. Have only moved up to get a player. Feel how you feel about the player? Mo Claiborne was the player. Okay? And so they historically don't move up. They stay put or they move back. Now, when they move back, they picked up some really good talent. When they stay put or move back, they picked up Zach Martin and Micah Parsons and CeeDee Lamb and Dez Bryant. I mean, they picked some really good players when they just was, as the word would say, be still and know, right? Like this, be still and let the draft fall to you. That's what I personally believe that they should do, is just be still and don't really try to force their hand, because you don't want to go up there and now you're doing a 2-for-1, right? You're giving up your 2 first-round picks, and now that you only get 1. You get 2 first. You got to give 2 first round to move up to get 1, and you need the draft capital. So I think they should stay put.
Staying put. That's what Jesse Holley does as people continue to blow him up, because he is very important in these streets. Hey, it's Believing Cowboys presented by FanDuel. We are now looking at everything when it comes to the players. So obviously we know the areas of need are defense on all 3 levels. We know that Shadi said they're going to take the best player available, so that potentially could be an offensive player, but we'll stick to the defense for now. Again, defensive line, edge, green dot, middle linebacker, of course, always help in the secondary is needed. So I want to start with a player. I talked about Miami earlier in the podcast. Shouts out to the Miami Hurricanes. It's all about you. Rueben Bain, defensive lineman, edge rusher, is a beast when it comes down to it. Your thoughts on him as a player and a potential fit with the Cowboys?
Love him as a player. I mean, there isn't anything that he can do. He moves humans with ease. And so I'm a fan of Rueben. Rueben is young, but he look old. You know what I'm saying? Rueben looked like he's 46, but he got that old man strength. And, you know, and I don't know him personally, but he looks like the type. Anybody that don't get his shape up when they got to go to do a big interview or something like that, yeah, I just, when you don't even care about how you look, that's enough. I'm like, oh, he like football for real. He loves football.
Right.
He loves football. And I think the Cowboys need more of those type of dudes. Yes, I want a great player, which I believe Rueben Bain is. Now, the knock on Rueben Bain is 30-inch arms, right? So that's the part about Rueben Bain with the arm length. And, you know, they go back and say historically no one has ever been taken in the first round who has had shorter than 31-inch arms. Rueben Bain, 30-inch arms. And, you know, and so the history said that doesn't turn out to be a really good player. I'm saying I watched this dude on film, okay? I watched this dude on film move. I watched him play. You know, I watched what he did against A&M and against Indiana and things like that. Now, you know, People are going to say, well, there was 2 or 3 games where he didn't really show up. I'm like, well, yeah, but there was 20 they did. Okay? There's a lot of games that he did. And so I'm a huge Rueben Bain fan, and I hope that people keep that old school mentality of they have to have the right metrics and numbers and all that other kind of stuff, because that's how they judge things. Remember, we had Taco Charlton here when you still had TJ Watt was on the board because a coach said he didn't put his hand in the dirt, so he couldn't be a defensive end for me. Well, you see how that played out. So sometimes you kind of gotta go away from all the whole, historic and things that you normally kind of count on. Rueben Bain's a dog, and I like him a lot. Will he be there at 12 for the Cowboys? Maybe, possibly. Because there are going to be teams who look at Rueben Bain and going, can't do it. Arms too little. Can't go that route. Right. You're also going to have teams that there's going to be a shakeup in there, right? There's going to be an offensive lineman that may be drafted earlier than some may suspect, a wide receiver, or someone may jump into that realm to get a player for them, and that also may push Rueben Bain to you. But if Rueben Bain is available at 12, you run to the podium. You run to the podium and you go get Rueben Bain. He makes your football team better instantly.
Hurricane Bain. Michael Irvin said it. He said it to me. He said it to others. Miami Hurricanes are well received in the Metroplex, going back to the days when he was drafted by Tom Landry and joined Jimmy Johnson here. I mean, we got a guy that was ACC Defense Player of the Year. He's been described as a bulldozer, very quiet, but then when he speaks, his teammates listens. I had the privilege to be in the Miami Hurricanes locker room a number of times during the playoff run. And in that game versus Ohio State, this is a guy who doesn't really talk a lot. But after Coach Cristobal addressed the team, he said, hey, y'all know I don't say much. And then he said, bleepity bleep, bleepity 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 bleep. And then everybody was locked in. So he's somebody that is a leader. He leads by example. He leads vocally at times. And like you said, he's an absolute dog that don't get no shape up, so you know he about that life when it comes to football.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm looking at these DBs, man, because everybody talks about the position of safety and how it's tricky, how it's sometimes undervalued. We know corners are important, but when I'm looking at somebody like Caleb Downs, who is some have described him as the best player in the draft. Some say he could play at any position. He happens to play safety. You move him all over the field. Your thoughts on Caleb Downs and potentially him coming to the Cowboys?
Another dog. Matt Patricia, who was a defensive coordinator at Ohio State, who comes from the Bill Belichick tree. That was the good Belichick, not the new Belichick, not the Belichick that I got in North Carolina. This comes from the old Belichick, the New England, that Belichick.
Right.
Matt Patricia said in an interview that whatever team drafts Caleb Downs, he becomes the best player in your defense and the smartest player in your defense that day. Mm. And that says a lot. Again, another guy who loves football, comes from a pedigree of family. His brother, Josh Downs, has already been in the league, wide receiver for the Colts. So this is a kid who understands not only the business of the NFL, but what it means to be a professional, right? He understands his big bro was showing him the way of how all this stuff was supposed to go down and treatment and studying and all that other kind of stuff. And when you get that level of praise from a guy like Matt Patricia, who has coached some of the best defensive players, in the league, who was around when guys, I'm thinking of the DB's name, he won defensive player of the year, just retired. Can't remember his name right now. Golly.
He was in the NFL?
Yeah, he was with the Cowboys, cornerback. Anyway, he played for the New England Patriots. It'll come to me. Matt Patricia was around a lot of good defensive players. And for him to say that high praise of Caleb Downs tells me all I need to know about who this player is and what this player can bring to your football team. And on top of that, I go back to what Christian Parker said. Christian Parker talked about that nickel, that safety position, how it's the most important position on his football team. And if that can get you where you need to go in his defense, then sign me up. He's another one who I would run to the podium. I don't think he's going to be available, but if I get to 12 and Caleb Downs is there, then again, I am hauling tail to the podium to sign.
Stephon Gilmore, that's who you were talking about.
Gilmore, Gilly. Right. Gilly Lock.
Yeah. I just actually saw him sitting. He was sitting courtside at the Mavericks game a couple of weeks ago, and they played the Lakers right alongside of Kyler Murray, who's now going to Minnesota. Allen legend. But no, coming back to Caleb Downs, man, like you said, he comes from that pedigree. We know his brother plays in the league for the Colts. His dad played in the NFL, the younger cousin of your North Carolina brethren, Dre Bly. That's his cousin. So it's all in the family. Like the DB blood runs in the family. The question is, like you said, will he still be around? Potentially he will. Probably he won't. But again, that comes back to my original statement when it comes to the safety position. For some reason, unless your name is Sean Taylor or somebody of that nature, you're not going to be picked early. And chances are you might slip. You see this name that just happens to be above my shoulder. Shouts out to my big bro, Ed Reed, who was arguably the greatest safety to ever do it. Wasn't picked in the top 5, wasn't picked in the top 10, wasn't even picked in the top 20. So right. 24th pick in the draft, do with that information what you will. Chance is he could be available.
Yeah, if he is, the Cowboys should definitely take him. Now, if it's between he and Bain, if they're both sitting there at 12, then give me Rueben Bain all day, though.
Okay, I can take that. I can respect that. So now I'm looking down the line, and we've touched on this, but C.J. Allen, we all know that the green dot is very important, that quarterback position on the defensive side of the ball. Cowboys missed out on opportunities to bring in a veteran middle linebacker. Still haven't really brought anybody in that can really solidify that position. C.J. Allen has been a dog. We know what he's done physically and literally when it comes to being a dog playing for the Bulldogs. Him coming to the Cowboys, would that be a game changer on the defensive side?
I don't know. For whatever reason, the C.J. Allen conversation has dwindled. It's died out. And for a team who is desperately in need of a middle linebacker, of a green dot, the conversation about C.J. Allen just hasn't been one that's been pretty popular. It's been one that's kind of fizzled out. It was talks, about a month or so ago, C.J. Allen or Anthony Hill Jr., a local kid here in DFW, was at Texas, and then Jacob Rodriguez at Texas Tech. But the C.J. Allen conversation has really fallen off. And so I don't know if it's kind of one of those, like, we're not talking about him because we really like him and we don't want to tip people off. But it's been really, really quiet on the C.J. Allen front over at the Star. I was just over there today, and you just don't hear much talk about you hear more talk, honestly. You hear more talk about guys like Thieneman, the safety from Oregon. You've heard more talks about Keldric Faulk over at the Star. For whatever reason, I don't know why. Again, it could be this is Lion season, right? Everyone's lying and trying to kind of keep their whole, like they ain't trying to show their cards. But C.J. Allen is a name that just hasn't been one that's been a popular name that's been swung around the building.
So let's stick with that for a second. We talk about Keldric Faulk coming from Auburn, young kid, 20 years old. Allegedly has been said that he's wise beyond his years. That's just what I've heard. I don't know that personally. I have not been around him, but he comes in with very high character grades, next level leadership qualities, adult-like accountability, which would be welcome in the Dallas Cowboys locker room, especially defensively. Now, he could be a key piece for building the culture, but what are your thoughts on him as a player potentially coming to Dallas?
So you broke up the first part of that name.
Keldric Faulk, Auburn.
So the Keldric Faulk conversation has been a very, very interesting one. You talk about a name that you want to divide down the middle, with half of the fan base saying, I'll take him, the other half of the fan base saying, keep him the hell away from my football team. That's the name. You mentioned that name, and people, it gets into this type of battle when it comes down to how they feel and what they feel about Keldric Faulk. And if you're just looking at measurables, height, weight, all that kind of stuff, you go, first one off the bus. You remember those days, listen, y'all getting off the bus first with the big shoulder pads and the double thigh pads. Y'all get off the bus first because y'all going to be the level of intimidation. That's Keldric Faulk. He looks the part to where you want him first off the bus. But then you go, all right, well, he has all the size, all the intangibles, all the things that you want in a player. Then they're going, well, maybe he doesn't have the productivity that you want. And, if you want to go back, 2 years ago and watch that film, That's been the one name, honestly, man, that has been divided. That has divided the fan base for the Cowboys when it's come to drafting. It's been Keldric Faulk. I'm telling you, like, you have more people, you know, if you say Bain, more pros than cons. You say Downs, more pros than cons. You say Messidor or any other guys. You say Keldric Faulk, and boy, you might have a fight on your hands. That's how people feel about him. I go back to a rant I had earlier today or yesterday, whatever it was, and this is not me being pro Keldric Faulk. This is not me being con Keldric Faulk. This is me being, keep the same energy, because, and I say that to the point of, it's Christian Parker and his staff who y'all say that he was. When Christian Parker came along, y'all told me, and I'm not saying you, Ro, I'm saying everybody else, they told me how great Christian Parker was. They showed me all the quotes from all the folks who said that Christian Parker was the most important person in their development of their career. They showed me what he did with other teams and how that defense worked out. Then they went and hired B.T. Jordan as the pass rush specialist, and they told me and showed me all the clips of the players that he had developed, and they have a collage of all the players that he has worked with and how great he was and how that was a missing piece of the Cowboys defensive front, and Ryan Smith and all the other guys that they brought on this coach. So I got heard everything about Christian Parker and what he's able and how he's able to develop. Well, if that's what you're saying, then if you go and get Keldric Faulk, he should fit right into the mold of what Christian Parker is. A developer, someone who will put him in the right scheme, in the right place, because, you know, for the first part of what we got to see from Christian Parker, and that's the interviews, he's aced them. He said all the right things. And he said, my scheme is not a scheme-based thing. It is a player-based thing. I adjust to the players. So if he's true to what he said, then honestly, whether it's Faulk, whether it's Hood, whether it's Downs or Bain or whatever player they draft in the first round defensively, should be A-okay, right? Because y'all told me that Christian Parker was the second coming of, you know, Jesus in you know, as a defensive coordinator. I didn't want if that's what everyone was hitting on in January and February, then it still should be the same in April and May.
Believe in Cowboys, Jesse Holley, Ro Parrish, getting you prepared for the NFL draft, which is right on the horizon. Cowboys would pick 12 and 20. Just going through a couple of players who, you know, who stand out to us. Another player who's interesting to me is Avon Terrell, the DB out of Clemson. We know, again, another defensive back who has a brother that's in the NFL. You've seen the words fluid, athletic, technician, man coverage specialist, you know, the right DB size, right around 6 foot or under 6 foot, 180, 190 pounds, who isn't afraid to get physical. Could he be a high priority for the Cowboys?
Ran slow. He ran slow. That's what everybody wants. He ran slow. And now you have to ask the question, do I trust my eyes and see what the tape says, or do I go, man, he ran a really slow 40. He ran a really slow 40. You know what I'm saying? Like that's right. The part of, if we're talking about putting him in the slot or putting him on the outside, at some point in time, he's going to have to run with these jokers. And if he can't turn and run, then you're going to get picked on. Welcome to the NFL. When they find out that you can't do a certain thing, guess what's going to happen to you? He can't run, no problem. Hey, fastest guy we have on our team, go in motion, get him out there on you on the island, and we're going to run at him multiple times a game. So that's the big thing. So I think he lost a little bit of steam because he was really good at Clemson, created the turnovers, physical. You know, you wanted a guy like that, but when he ran that slow 40 time, and I don't know whether it was hamstring issues or not, when he came out and said he had some hamstring issues, between now and next week, he might need to put out a video or something like that of him rerunning his 40 and showing us something a little bit better time, because if not, we go back to the whole, you know, numbers and metrics and all that other kind of stuff. You know, if you're a DB, you can't be running slow 40s now. You can't be in the 4.6s and whatnot. I think you're about to go out there and be able to stay in front of cat. So that was the biggest thing that hurt that hurt Terrell was that slow 40 time.
You saying he needed to go out there like Cat Williams did a couple of years ago and record his own 40 and post it on social media.
40, for sure.
Man, one of the crown princes on defense is Sonny Styles. Obviously, we feel like he's probably going to be gone before pick 12, but in this national conversation about Cowboys potentially moving up, that's been one of the players or the player that's been discussed. I mean, you see him, he's a specimen. Converted safety, now can play in the middle of the field, has the great range, can do all the things, leadership, intelligence, athleticism, checks all the boxes. Your thoughts on Sonny Styles?
He's the creme de la creme to me of the top part of this draft. Boy, what a unit, as some of the young people say. Like, this joker is, if you're trying to like build a dude in the lab, he'll look like Sonny Styles. Who, by the way, maybe it's just me, Sonny Styles and Jameis Winston, don't they look alike? They look like they could be brothers. I'm telling you, when you're done, pull up 2 pictures of Sonny Styles and Jameis Winston. They look like they could be brothers. But that's neither here nor there. Sonny Styles is just, man, he is, and some people have dubbed him as Little Fred Warner.
Fred Warner.
And if anybody knows me, my favorite football player in the league is Fred Warner.
Really?
Oh.
Was today years old when I learned that.
Listen, you want to see football poetry in motion? Go to YouTube. I loved when it was in the season and I had to go watch film to prepare for the week, and the opponent, they were playing the Niners. I'm watching Fred Warner, whether we ain't even playing the Niners. But if the film was on and Fred was out there,
right.
Now, he got hurt this year, but you talk about I mean, there isn't anything he can't do. He can cover. He can read and react. He can come downhill. He can stop you in your tracks. He can shed blocks. He can get out Fred Warner, before Fred Warner, I always say, I used to call him my MCM football edition, my Man Crush Monday NFL edition. It was Aaron Donald. I used to love to watch. I would put on Aaron Donald film and just marvel at the greatness of these technicians. And that's Fred Warner. And if you're telling me that Sonny Styles has any chance to being close to what Fred Warner is, my God, that's just a special football player. I mean, Fred Warner is just, he's so fluid and nice and agile and fast and physical. Like, he is just, he is what you want in today's middle linebacker. He's everything that you want in that position, from the tackling to the covering to the audibles, everything. Fred Warner is one of the best football players on the planet.
Okay, all right. Well, there it is. That is brought to you by Jesse Holley, who is the president of the Fred Warner.
I am. No lie. No lie. This is a funny. We were at the Super Bowl and Fred Warner was doing an interview like a booth over from where we were hosting. The show, and all my other co-hosts, they know that I'm a huge fan of Fred Warner. And so when it was all done, I just went up to him and I spoke to him. And I was like, man, I shook his hand. I said, bro, I just want to shake your hand. And he was like, man, I appreciate that. I said, you represent everything that is good as a football player. And I just wanted to tell you that. I'm like, hey, I ain't no punk and I ain't nothing like that. But I wanted to shake the man's hand and be like, bro, you represent everything that is good as a football player. The way that you go about the game, the way that you show up each and every week, he should do a class. That's how good Fred Warner is.
The Fred Warner Masterclass coming soon, all brought to you by, with an introduction from television and radio and podcast, Jesse Holley. Stay tuned because it is coming soon.
I'll be the MC.
It's Believe It Cowboys, Jesse Holley, Ro Parrish, and of course, we're delivered to you by FanDuel. Let's take it in a different direction, Jesse. I'm going to throw this up on the screen. overall number 5 pick. These are the numbers. Shouts out to our friends in Vegas. You see the names on the screen. We've talked about some of them: Sonny Styles, Caleb Downs. And, we look at this. Who do you feel like is going to have the best chance, numbers aside, to be the top 5 pick in the NFL draft?
When you say top 5, do you mean like to the 5th, like to the Giants?
The actual 5th pick. These are the numbers on the screen.
Oh, actual 5th pick. So the New York Giants have the 5th pick in this draft. I think Reese and Bailey will be gone. Jeremiah Love isn't a need for the New York Football Giants. Francis Mawinoa, the Miami tackle, the Giants need offensive line help. But again, I just talked to you about Sonny Styles. If Sonny Styles is there at number 5, I unless they go offensive line, I find it very, very hard to believe that they're going to let Sonny Styles pass. If the Giants don't go lineman, they're going Sonny Styles. So I would say it's between Francis and Sonny. You know what? I'm going to say Sonny. I'm going to say Sonny Styles, because if they're trying to get rid of Kayvon Thibodeau and Sexy Dexy's having a little bit of contract issues with them and how that may go down, they may try to kind of make sure they're good on the defensive side and bring in a guy like Sonny Styles. I'll say Sonny Styles. All
right, that's fair. So I want to throw this up here too, because seeing that you played the position in the NFL, the first wide receiver drafted, we know that the Cowboys have said they're going to take the best player that's on the board, which could potentially be an offensive player. But I'm looking at Carnell Tate, Jordan Tyson from the Metroplex. You got these guys from Indiana. Omar Cooper did his thing. Casey Concepcion, who I love his game, a game breaker, as a playmaker, as a wideout or a return man. Looking through that list, who do you like to go first off the board?
I too, like you, Ro, I'm a huge Casey Concepcion fan, huge. And I would not be shocked when we look back at this in January if Casey Concepcion isn't having the best season out of all of these names. But the best wide receiver, if we're talking about, route for route, hands for hands, running for running, all things set aside, is Jordan Tyson. Is Jordan Tyson. And again, to talk about coming from a family of just pure athletes, his brother plays in the NBA, right? So
playing for Cleveland, getting ready to play in the playoffs right now, doing his thing.
And so, Carnell Tate is probably the most polished. Feel how you feel. Ohio State to me now is wide receiver U. I know what came out of LSU, but go back and look what's come out of Ohio State, right? They got some dogs at Ohio State. And honestly,
they got the highest paid wideout in the league right now, too.
And the best dog ain't even get to the league yet. He coming next year. Okay. Right. He might be the best of them all. Right. Okay. When old Jeremiah get to the it's gonna be a lot of taking for Jeremiah next year. I can tell you that right now. It's gonna be a lot of folks mid-season gonna be like, you know what? That old Jeremiah coming out next year. Let's go ahead and shut things down around here so we can be at the top 1 or 2 in the NFL draft for Jeremiah. But for me, it's Jordan Tyson. I think pound for pound, Jordan Tyson is the best wide receiver out of this group. Carnell Tate might be the most polished. Micah Lemon is good. Omar Cooper is good. Casey Concepcion is just a Swiss Army knife and does so many things and can wreck the game in so many different ways. Those guys to me are all really good, but Jordan Tyson for me.
Can we just take a moment to shout out Ohio State? Not an Ohio State fan, but you got to give credit where it's due. You talk about Jeremiah Smith, Emeka Egbuka. You talk about Carnell Tate, and then you have JSN, who just got paid. You got Garrett Wilson, Marvin Harrison Jr., Chris Olave. Going back in the day, you got Ted Ginn Jr., Santonio Holmes, Michael Jenkins, David Boston, Terry Glenn, Joey Galloway, and of course, my GOAT at the wide receiver position. Don't look at me crazy, but I got to shout out Chris Carter, who was doing crazy work back at Ohio State. So, yeah, shouts out to Ohio State. You can talk about LSU, but Ohio State clearly right now you can say they got it as wide receiver university.
For sure. Absolutely.
All right, man. Go ahead. My bad.
No, I said Ohio State. Get my vote as wide receiver U.
So, We're looking at it. We have a couple of days before the draft. I've asked you this question before. However, I'm going to bring the question back because things change. Pick 12, pick 20. You're in the war room. Jerry next to you, Steven, and of course, Will McClay, the great Will McClay. And they ask you, Jesse, who are you taking? Tell me who you're taking with pick 12 and 20.
If available, I mean, do I get the pick of the litter?
Hey, dog. I mean, this is your moment. If let's just say whoever is available is available. If you have the opportunity, who are you taking at pick 12 and 20? Are you making a trade? What are you doing if you personally?
I'm not trading. The likelihood of Reese being available at 12 is a long shot. But if he was, I'm taking Reese. I'm taking Reese. You can maybe twist my arm and go David Bailey because he gives you a right now pass rusher. But neither one of those guys will be available. My hope is that Baines or Downs slides for whatever reason, and I'll take Rueben Bain. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. I'll take Rueben Bain and call me crazy. When we get to 20 and everything is kind of going his way, if Kenyon Sadiq, the Oregon tight end, is available at 20, this is for Jesse Holley, I'm taking Kenyon Sadiq. I'm taking that size and that speed, and I'm saying literally pick your poison, because I'm going CeeDee Lamb, I'm going George Pickens, and I'm going Kenyon Sadiq in the middle of the field running a 4-3 against who? Too big for a slot for a nickel corner, too fast for a safety end or a linebacker, and Dak Prescott, his best throw is the seam. And you can have Jake Ferguson on the other side, who I think will eat as well. He can run the underneath middle stuff. Sadiq run the over top the middle stuff. And then now you put a secondary in hell. How do you defend that? You have to play quarters coverage. You have to go quarters coverage across the way. Everybody's back. And then now you just eat your way down the field 10 yards here, 10 yards at a time down the field. So if we get to 20, I know that we need defensive players, but Kenyon Sadiq for me at 20 if he's available.
Hey, I'm going to say this. I love that pick. I love thinking outside the box. Sadiq, in my opinion, is the offensive answer to what a player like Sean Taylor was defensively. Versatile, big, strong, fast. You know, you talked about if you constructed a football player, if you putting a tight end together, this is pretty much how you create a player on Madden. This is what you want a tight end to look back. And if we look back in 5 years, Sadiq might be the best pass catcher overall, regardless of position, in this draft. So not mad at that pick at all, dog. Not mad.
That's where I would go. That's where I would go with 20 if he's available.
There it is. All right. Hey, I ain't mad at it. We're going to see what happens. Again, this is FanDuel bringing it to you. Believe in Cowboys. Jesse Holley, Roe Parrish, we appreciate you for listening, liking, and subscribing. Jesse, it's time to go. Lead the people with some good words.
Here's what I got for you guys this week. I was reading the great story of David, and what came to me on my walk, and it was just simply this. One of the things that we just don't talk enough about, and I want you to take this with you. Take it off if it don't fit. Whatever that thing is in your life, if it don't fit, take it off. That's work, relationships, whatever. If it don't fit you, take it off. You're not going to win with it. That's what I'm leaving y'all with.
I like it. Hey, if that shirt fitting you a little bit too snug, dog, take it off.
Take it off. Take it off, man. Take it off. You ain't gonna win if it don't fit. If it ain't for you, you ain't gonna win with it regardless. Take it off if it don't fit.
Home chick, if that skirt you put on is riding up a little bit too, just take it off.
Now I got the dog barking.
I got
phones. I got dogs barking. Okay, Mamba, it's okay. All right, we gotta go. I got all this camera. I got text messages. I got a Cane Corso barking. It's time for us to go, man. We are out of here. Get us out of here, bro.
Hey, Ray Lewis said, big dogs in the house. Woo, 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 woo. Big dogs in the house. Woo, woo. That's what Jesse got going on. We appreciate you for watching. Hey, Jesse's time to go. Get us out of here. Love, respect, and salute.
Eliminate the contingencies.
And the dog barking.